Hello, Vibrational Revelations community. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Elena.
My name is Alejandro.
And this has been one of those episodes that, of course, we've taken our time to collect all the information, record for you this special episode on the situation that is happening in Ukraine-Russia war. Now, before we begin, I wanted to let you guys know that I was born and I grew up in Kiev, Ukraine. So this has absolutely been my homeland. I have family currently in Ukraine, and I also have family in Russia. Now, part of this episode, we're revealing to you very specific amount of information because a lot of it, we don't want to be censored. It will be revealed in the Vibrational Revelations membership community. And that is going to be happening with a lot of discussions. As some of you might not be aware of, we actually go live every Tuesday with our community members. We answer questions. We have really interesting, insightful discussions. So now let me give you a list of what we will be revealing to you today and what is included in the Vibrational Revelations Ukraine-Russia War episode. Okay, so in this YouTube video, we will be revealing to you Ukraine-Russia's war frequency, Ukraine Human Collective, the year 2020, and also, as of today, the frequency of the Russian Human Collective, year 2020, and today, Vladimir Putin, Sergei Shoigu, Stepan Bandera, Ramzan Kadyrov, and the Wagner Group. These are the things that will be included in the YouTube Vibrational Revelations. Now, the rest of the list, we'll give you the list that's included, is NATO, Sergei Lavrov, Vladimir Zelensky, Alexei Reznikov, Viktor Yanukovych, Viktor Yushchenko, Petro Poroshenko. So the last three I just named, they were the previous presidents of Ukraine. Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone is a Hollywood producer, and his two films that he made. One of the films is Revealing Ukraine film, and we will be giving you the frequencies of the film, the integrity of the film, and also the alignment with divine and divine purpose and its mission. And the second film is the Putin interviews. So those things will be revealed in the membership Vibrational Revelation membership community only. Now, there's a couple of things we wanted to also say, that it's not about who is right and who is wrong, that there's human lives. Humanity is suffering. People on both sides are being killed and suffering. So for us, it's really about having the compassion, and it's not about attaching and ghosting who is right, who is wrong, if there's fake information, misinformation. Let's keep Ukraine and Russia in our hearts and visualize peace and love surrounding that region. Remember also that Russia and Ukraine are brothers, right? And the origin of Russia stems from Kiev Rus, which is over 1,500 years ago. This is where Russia was established. And we can talk about that. Now, let's just say, take a moment of silence to connect to people of that land, of both of those lands, and send them love and peace, because ultimately this is the game that is being played out on the political arena, and human lives are being sacrificed at this very moment. So Ukraine-Russia war, the frequency, again, we're using the scale of consciousness, right? So for those of you that are not familiar, please reference to the scale of consciousness that you can download. PDF file is available in the drop-down menu below this video. And also we've created a video that you can reference about the breakdown of vibrational analysis that we'll be doing and using for some of the characters that we'll be revealing to you today. Now, Ukraine-Russia war, the overall frequency on a scale of 0 to 1,000 is 50. 50 is apathy, manipulation. Ukrainian Human Collective year 2020 was 225, which was a frequency of courage. As of today, Ukrainian Human Collective is the frequency of fear, 100. Russian Human Collective year 2020 was a frequency of 200, courage. As of today, it's the frequency of 125, unfulfilled desire. Okay. Now let's go into one of Putin's right-hand man. Of course, there's many we'll be revealing in our Vibrational Revelations membership community episode, but this is one of them. He's the Minister of Defense of Russia, Sergei Shoigu. Sergei Shoigu, S-H-O-I-G-U. His overall frequency is 50, apathy. He incarnated at the frequency of 55. He was born at the frequency of 50. So you could see this pattern of these numbers, right? And this is somebody we would call a shadow player, right? They incarnated at 55, born at 50, overall frequency 50. Health, he views through the lens of 30, which is guilt. Finances, 50, apathy. So apathy is manipulation, but also disconnection, disassociation. Creativity, 20. Right? And 20 creativity is shame. Relationships, 50, apathy. Personal growth, 20, again, shame. Philanthropy, 50. Intuition, 20, shame. Under the intuition, there's 4 aspects. Clairaudience, 20, shame. Clairsentience, 20. Clairvoyance, 20. Claircognizance, 20. Now we are looking into 4 aspects of intelligence. And this is fascinating since we've started to introduce these aspects, because you can have a shadow player and they'll have higher numbers somewhere else. So for Sergei Shoigu, his IQ is 350. So he's a pretty sharp mind. EQ, because usually the average that we see for most humans is between 200 and 250. But he has a higher, much higher than the average IQ. EQ, which is the emotional intelligence, and it's supposed to be far superior than the intellect, right? The information. And for him, it's a frequency of 20, shame. SQ, social quotient. How does he do in groups, right? In social settings. And we also link it with higher numbers to the level of magnetism. So for Sergei Shoigu, his SQ is 400 reasons. So he has this magnetic, perhaps, energy that pulls, allures people in. And then, of course, underneath it, it's this 50 frequency. The AQ, when he's faced with challenging situations, what emotion or what frequency gets triggered? And it's a frequency of 20, shame. He enjoys his role, 95%. Again, for those of you that are new, like, how can he enjoy it? So again, we talked often throughout all of our episodes, there are some characters that incarnate to play here as a shadow role, and others come here to play in the light. And for those that stand fully in their shadow role, they're enjoying their role. So he's enjoying his shadow role 95%. He's in his ego 100%. And out of that, 100% is the superior ego. In the now, how present he is, right? 97%. So he's fully present for this game. Integrity, 100%. Integrity to himself or his belief systems are at 100%. Integrity to others, 33%. Self-awareness, 95%. So he's fully aware of himself, his inner and outer world. Clarity, 97%. Alignment with divine purpose, 100%. Alignment with personal purpose, 100%. So what does it mean? That he's here to play out a shadow role, a contrast. Compassion, which is how compassionate he is, 21%. Empathy, 69%. Energy purity, 98%. So what does it mean? It means he embodies the 50 frequency at 98%. Now, next person is Ramzan Kadyrov. He's the head of Chechen Republic. So this is somebody who was made by Putin a national hero. When there was a Chechen war, right? What happened was this guy was the head of the Chechen militia. He murdered a lot of Russian soldiers. So this is fascinating.
Decapitated.
Decapitated, yes. So this is the person who's, I would call him, actually with his frequencies, will tell you exactly what he is. And he incarnated at the frequency of 20, which is shame. Born at the frequency of 20, and his overall frequency is 20. And actually, Dr. Hawkins refers to people with this frequency, and we've seen this pattern as people who are like serial killers, right? He views health through the lens of 20, shame, finances, 20. His creativity is 1. 1 is destruction. So he creates through the lens of destruction. Relationships, 1. This is out of 1,000. Again, destruction. Personal growth, 20, shame. Philanthropy, 10. Again, this is shame. Intuition, 20. And all 4 aspects of intuition, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, and claircognizance are all 20. And he's actually been sent right now to Putin, he and his people, to Ukraine to murder people. IQ, his IQ is 200, courage. EQ, 20, shame. SQ, social quotient, 125, which is unfulfilled desire. And AQ, what happens when he's faced with challenging situations, adversity, his innate response is the frequency of 10. Again, destruction, shame. He enjoys his role. So this is a shadow player, 97%. So he has fun being Ramzan Kadyrov.
Decapitating people. Enjoys it.
Enjoys it fully. He's in his ego 100%, and he's in his superior ego 100%. In the now, 98%. Integrity, 100%. So he's very loyal and faithful to his core values and beliefs. Integrity to self, 100%. Integrity to others, 100%. So if he makes a statement that he's going to go after somebody, you can bet on it, he's absolutely going to do it. Self-awareness, 100%. Clarity, 100%. So he's fully aware, he's fully clear. He's in alignment with divine purpose. Again, another shadow player, 100%. And he's playing out his role to whatever script he chose to play out before incarnation. An alignment with personal purpose, 100%. Compassion for Ramzan Kadyrov is 4%. Empathy, 17%. This is probably one of the lowest compassions, right? We've read. Energy purity, 100%. So that means he's 100% embodying the frequency of 20, which is a frequency of shame, and it's a frequency of destruction.
Have they canceled the flights from Russia to the US?
I actually don't know. I'm not sure.
Next is Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. His overall frequency is 55, level of apathy. He incarnated at the frequency of 525, which is the level of love. And he was born at the same frequency, 525.
We revealed him in our community a year and a half ago, actually. He was a totally different frequency.
At that time, in 2020, his overall frequency was 205, which is the level of courage, right?
Yeah. So this 55 shows also that he's fully fragmented, right? There's fragmentation massively from 525 to 50.
Wow. Right, especially for someone that incarnated at the frequency of 525, you know, and was born at the same frequency. He views health through the lens of fear at 100. Finances, 325. That is still the level of willingness that begins at 310. And then 350 will be acceptance, but 325 remains a willingness. Creativity, 50, level of apathy. Relationships, 50. Personal growth, 55. Philanthropy, 50. Intuition, 100. Again, this doesn't mean how, it doesn't tell you how intuitive the person is, but what filter gets activated when the information comes through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Within intuition, we have clairaudience at 100, clairsentience 100, clairvoyance 100, and claircognizance 100. That is the level of fear. Under the intelligence aspect, we have IQ 350, level of acceptance.
Mm-hmm. Very sharp too, sharp mind.
It has to establish a good relationship with that aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
EQ 55, level of apathy. That is the emotional quotient. SQ, social quotient, is 200, level of courage. And AQ, adversity quotient, is 50, level of apathy. In the joy, how much Vladimir Putin is enjoying the role that he's playing in this reality, and it's at 9%. 9%.
Not at all.
In the ego, how much he pays attention to thought or information, especially the information that has been experienced. 100%. So he's 100% attached to thought, we can say that. And within that 100%, 100% of that is the superior version of the ego. In the now, how much he stays in the now or in the present moment? 47%. Integrity, how loyal and faithful he is to his core values and beliefs, to his truth, is 40%. Integrity to self, 98%. And integrity to others, 31%. Self-awareness, 90%. Clarity, 92%. Alignment with divine purpose, 64%. So he's way out of alignment when it comes to his divine purpose. And that is usually, most of the time, the case for those that they are currently vibrating at a not only very low frequency, but to where the difference between the frequency they incarnated at, in his case at 525, and the frequency he's vibrating at, or how he's experiencing life at the moment, is at 55. So that contrast is what is really impacting his level of joy, and is impacting his alignment, right? With
he's disconnected, I would say, from his higher self.
Uh-huh.
And therefore it seems like the decisions are very erratic. Right? There's a lot of chaos.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's sort of like
disconnected.
Alignment with personal purpose is 94%. Compassion, 60%. And we have recognized as a pattern that for those that are 100% in the superior ego, and they have low numbers in the compassion, like 60% is low, will definitely show narcissistic tendencies. No?
Mm-hmm.
Empathy, 68%. And energy purity, this really tells you, for those, like in the case of Vladimir Putin, that he incarnated at 525 and he's currently vibrating at 55, the energy purity is telling you how much he's embodying the frequency of 55 in this case, right? So it's at 54%. So
he's fragmented. He's probably
really fragmented.
Probably has some kind of attachment.
Interferences also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So that energy purity also is a great indicator as of how much the person is embodying the current level of consciousness that they're experiencing, and how far away they are from transcending, right? And for Vladimir Putin, it's a different story than it is
Kadyrov, who is at 100% energy purity frequency of 20, because he came here to be a shadow player.
That's right, yes.
Versus Putin did not come here to play out as a shadow player, but he's dropped into the shadow role.
Exactly.
Yes.
Of course, it's, at the end, this is free will, right? We all have the choice. And yes. So now the next person is Stepan Bandera. Stepan Bandera. We'd like to explain.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge movement, right now that's happening in Europe, and this is what, in Ukraine, right? This is what Putin is saying, that there's a lot of neo-Nazis, right? So they're going after neo-Nazis, and the neo-Nazis are calling followers of Stepan Bandera. What did Bandera do? Of course, he allied himself with Nazis. During World War II, he massacred. I know in Kiev, there's a place, it's called Babi Yar. There's over 33,000 Jewish people that have been murdered. And, my grandmother lived there at that time, and she said that when Nazis came, well, the job was already done. And the person behind this movement during World War II, and this 2-day massacre happened because of Stepan Bandera and his followers. Now, later on, of course, it was also, there's correlation with CIA and how it was convenient, of course, to support Stepan Bandera, but he died supposedly as a hero, and then his status, he was murdered by KGB, and later on his name has been revived in Ukraine, and there's a lot of people that are raising flags and are claiming to be his followers, right? So
most of them neo-Nazis. No?
Yeah. This is a neo-Nazi movement, absolutely 100%. So it's important, of course, to reveal now how many of those people are in Ukraine. It's hard to tell. I would say probably not a lot. But he was also, I wanted to say that he also was behind the murders of a lot of Polish people during World War II, because part of the Poland became Ukraine, right? Because when Stalin and Hitler were dividing the Europe, right? He said, Hitler said, you can keep part of this region, which is now Lviv, Lviv. It's that region. And he said, okay, well, you can keep that part of Poland, and that will be Ukraine. So Bandera also was massacring and killing lots of Polish people too. So there's a lot of suffering that happened, of course, during that time. And then his name kind of lived on. And now it's building up and escalating.
Right. He's been portrayed as a hero for some, right?
For some, yes.
Yes. So
the nationalists, Ukrainian nationalists, right? Again,
Stepan Bandera. His overall frequency is 20, level of shame. He incarnated at the frequency of 20 and was born at the frequency of 20.
Same as like
So he came
Kadyrov.
strictly to play this role, right?
Shadow
the
player.
Frequency of 20. Health. He views health through the lens of shame, also at 20. Finances, 20. Creativity, 20. Relationships, 10. Personal growth, 20. Philanthropy, 20. Intuition, 20. And within intuition, we have clairaudience at 20, clairsentience, 20, clairvoyance, 20, and claircognizance, 20.
You know what I just realized? That Hitler was exactly the same frequency, 20.
Yes.
And so is Kadyrov, who we've just revealed to you.
Right. It matches Dr. Hawkins' premise. Under the intelligence aspect, we have IQ 200, EQ 20, SQ 50, and AQ 10. In the joy, 94%. In the ego, 100%, and 100% of that is the superior version of the ego. In the now, 93%. Integrity, 100%. Integrity to self, 100%. Integrity to others, 96%. Just you knew that whatever he said, he meant it. Self-awareness, 97%. Clarity, 100%. Alignment with divine purpose, 100%. And alignment with personal purpose, 100%. So he was playing his divine role to the T. Right?
The shadow divine role.
Mm-hmm. Compassion, 32%. Empathy, 52%.
You know what? I just wanted to give you guys an example. After revealing Vladimir Putin, it came to me. He actually has similar frequencies. We've revealed Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
Jeffrey Epstein, right, was born at the same frequency as him, at 525, and he played out exactly the same frequencies of shadow, right? He embodied the shadow role. The difference was, of course, that Putin is running and in charge of so many people, right? And he also has access to nuclear weapons. So this is
could be a dangerous situation.
Very dangerous, right? Very dangerous.
Jeffrey Epstein's overall frequency was 55 as well.
Exactly.
50,
they had
55.
identical, I just realized it's two identical things, right? Just dropped from high to really low. And we've seen extremes as well, which we've revealed publicly, right? Where we've seen people that are born really low, some public figures, and they rise above that and embody the light. One of those, of course, was Russell Brand.
Right.
We've read
but it takes
a lot of work.
A lot of practice.
Yeah.
To remain and embody that level of consciousness fully,
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Next is the Wagner Group. How would you pronounce it?
The Wagner Group. The Wagner Group.
The Wagner Group, aka PMC Wagner.
So this is the group of serial killers. They were they're Putin's killers, I would say. They're part of his hired team. These were the ex-military in Afghan war, and they are the contractors. So they go out into Syria, into Central Africa. Right now, he sent them into Ukraine, into Donbas region, and these are the people that are on a very specific mission. So we will reveal you their frequencies.
PMC stands for Private Military Company.
Yes.
Right? Overall frequency is 20. Level of shame. Relationships, 1. That represents destruction, right? Philanthropy, 1. Integrity, 100%. So they're fully loyal to their cause, to their truth. Integrity to self, 100%. Integrity to others, 1%. 1%. That's
They're trained
the lowest we have ever read.
To destroy.
One of the lowest, yes. Alignment with divine purpose. How aligned they are with their divine purpose.
This organization.
Right, the Wagner Group. 1%. This has to be the lowest we have ever read.
I think it's the lowest we've ever read.
Alignment with its mission. The Wagner Group. 95%. Transparency, 27%. Also very low, right?
So you can see, there's groups from both sides that are dangerous. The Kadyrov's group and the Wagner Group, right? Ukrainian, Russian militia that is really mercenaries that are also infiltrating on both sides.
I think in every country you can find groups that are totally out of alignment, right? Out of a divine alignment, and also groups that are trying to change the political system and the justice system.
These groups are not trying to change their part. They're given orders. So
in a way, they're trying to change somehow, even if it is following orders.
Right.
Yes, but I wouldn't say that will you say that the Wagner Group represents that it doesn't represent the countries?
Not the country, the leadership. They're representing the leadership. It doesn't represent people. So I just wanted to say again, this episode is much bigger. So make sure that you join the Vibrational Revelations community to discuss everything in great detail, ask more questions. And our heart goes out to all of the people suffering I've had my days where I've cried over. I couldn't even have conversations with people about it, but my heart goes out to all the Ukrainian people suffering, to all the Russian people suffering, and may peace come into that region as soon as possible. May they, both leaders, see the light. And
yes, it is very important that we actually pray for the leaders too.
yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for being a part of our community. Thank you so much for your support, for your inquiry, and we wish you peace.
Yes. May peace be with you all. Thank you.